The last time on Pete and his bus. Today, I drive a red car. I will also drive a red bus, and hopefully all of us will see some red paint. Welcome to another episode of Pete and his bus. Welcome to another episode of Pete and his bus. This time around, we are definitely looking to get into the red paint. Hopefully there's no hiccups or hold-ups, and we will actually see some top coat go on that bus. But before we do that, a lot of you have been asking about the buses that are parked in the background when I'm working on mine. Now, one of them is this single-decker RF, or Regal 4. It belongs to a friend of mine, and he is slowly restoring it, so you'll see the progress of that as we go along. And the other one is the big, shiny red RLH. Now, that particular bus had a very special birthday this week, and it was invited to go to a little party, so I thought I'd go along and show you what happened. And at the same time, I'm also going to go into a bit more detail about how the RLH came along. And this is the bus in question. It's exactly 50 years ago since these RLHs were taken out of service. What is so special about the RLH? Well, the reason why it's called what it is because RLH stands for Regent Low Height. And it's basically about a foot lower than your standard London Routemaster or Regent 3, all these other various types of buses. And the reason why these were made is because they were able to go under some of London's low bridges.
Boring!
Now, you can't just take a foot off the top of a bus and expect everybody upstairs to sit like this. So they came up with a very clever way to solve that problem. If you look behind me, you can see that gully in the ceiling. And basically upstairs, all the seats are on one side, and when you need to walk on and off the top deck, you walk in that gully. Very simple and very effective. So what is so special about this bus? Well, it's been fully restored by a professional company to a standard that I will probably never achieve. Let's be real, they're not trying to paint it in a dusty barn. It's also been completely restored to originality, which is really lovely to see, not some idiot that will turn it into a bar or a cafe. And luckily for all of us, the owner is extremely generous and lets me take this bus out for things like this. So with it being exactly 50 years since the last RLH was taken out of service, it was someone's idea to try and get all the ones that remain in the UK together to run a route in London. Ever seen an RLH? This is your chance. Now they made less than 100 of these, and it turns out there are only 9 left in the country. One of them is in 1,000 pieces, so that was never going to attempt, but what you see in front of you here is all the remaining RLH buses together in London. So there you have it, Stratford to Clapton Pond by RLH. It was so lovely to see everybody come out, take pictures and enjoy the view of these beautiful old beasts driving around the city, and we would like to thank the organisers for letting us take part. Oh, and there is one thing that makes this whole event and day even better. After filming all these segments, I get to drive her back to the barn for a well-earned rest. So there is one piece on the outside of the bus which I technically haven't painted yet. Well, you could argue that it's on the inside, but it's on the rear open platform. And of course that section is painted the same as the outside, so I'm going to quickly make it catch up with the rest of the bus. Push once. Rather than paint around this button, I'm going to remove it fully so we can get a better finish. Always take a picture so you remember how it goes back. So now we're going to pull this beautiful brass ring off, which is no longer really looking like it's brass. Don't worry, it will do. There we are. And that is called electrolysis. Two different metals having an argument about who is better. And now we can sand it. Now this is nothing new and nothing special, but you'll be surprised the amount of professionals that forget to do this and run into trouble later. Take all the bits, stick them in a bag, and label it. In the last episode, I took a lot of flack because I chose to paint my bus without wearing a mask. All of you that mentioned it are 100% correct, so you'll be seeing this bad boy a lot more from here on out. So for the remaining stickers at top and the bottom, the sanding pad's getting a little clogged up, so I've bought some funky accessories for my drill, and we're going to have a go and see what works best. Sadly, these things are far too aggressive. I know they do softer ones, but I don't have one right now. But actually, I found a really old dirty tin of nitromors, and that is taking it clean off. So we're going to proceed with that.
Beef, I have a question for you. Why are you such a massive bus wanker? Hey! What you doing? No! Don't you dare! No!
I think that's all the pink mid-red done. Oh no, hold on, there's this bit. Yeah, so now I think that's all the pink mid-red done. And I'm so glad it's over. See you later, mid-red. In the beginning of this video, I did promise and say that we were definitely going to get stuck in with some red paint, or to put it more precisely, London red. So I'm going to do the same as last time. I'm going to take the removable panel off the back of the bus and we're going to spray it up and see what kind of a finish I can get. Watch this. Here at Pete in his bus, we very much believe in recycling, and for the eagle-eye viewer out there, you'll have noticed that I'm stirring the London red paint with the toothbrush that I found in our bus. just one small thing I've got to do, and thank you everybody for reminding me, and that is put this thing on my face. Here we go! So the London red paint goes on as per usual, but the only problem is by the time I'm finished, the panel looks absolutely terrible. So just because it looks bad doesn't mean we can't do anything about it. And even if I have to repaint the whole panel, I'm just going to have a go and see if I can make it look half decent. I've spent the last hour cutting back the panel with a bit of 600 and then a bit of 2000 to really get it smooth. And then I've cut it back with some actual polish and the machine. Now the result is good. The panel is a lot better than it was, but it is still not up to standard. There are two issues that I've got. The first one is I didn't leave the panel to dry for long enough. So I had a couple of small runs in it. Of course, they were still wet inside and they've peeled up. So I'm gonna have to repaint the panel anyway. And the other issue is that I've got slight pitting in the paint where it's landed. And now I think that it's to do with moisture or maybe a bit of oil coming out through the compressor. So I'm gonna have to check the setup on that and on the paint gun, and hopefully then we will get the finish that we want. I was a bit disappointed not to be able to show you guys this perfect shiny red panel without any blemishes whatsoever, but as I put it on the bus, it actually doesn't look that bad. Of course, all the imperfections are very difficult to see on camera, and I will definitely have to repaint it, but it is a good start to give you guys an idea of what our gorgeous bus is going to look like. So, one shiny red panel on my bus, which I've now got to repaint. Oh, it does make me feel as if I've achieved absolutely nothing this time on Pete and his bus. But of course, that's not true. I have to go through this process to learn and to get better and faster and make sure that the bus is painted to a standard that I am personally happy with. So bear with me, it's going to take some time, but I will get it right and we will have a beautiful red shiny London double-decker bus. Now, in other news, in 2020, I tried to work the Green Goddess commercially for me to turn it into a project with another company and all these different things. But because of the pandemic, all of that has fallen by the wayside. Now, I've put some feelers out and I've tried to work with this Green Goddess somehow, but there isn't the work out there for it. So I decided to put it up for sale. And a very nice chap turned up, never argued the price, said it was the best one he'd ever seen, and he bought it. So she will be in the background for a few more shots, but when she goes, that's the last time she'll be in my care. But fear not, she's gone to a wonderful home and they're gonna display her, use her for shows, so she is on the way to a good life. Once again, I thank you all so much for watching. I welcome all the new subscribers on YouTube. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. And I guess I'll see you next time on Pete and his bus. Wow, who painted your bus? I got Stevie Wonder to do it. Looks great, doesn't it?